Lahat ng drama, tawanan, balita at all-time favorite music hits. Sa lungkot at ligaya, kami pa rin ang inyong kasama. We're the place where you truly belong. Mula sa TVH Group of Networks, ito ang inyong himpilan. Ito ang inyong tahanan. Number 1 sa Mega Manila.
Good evening, Luzon, besides me now. This is koolNews at 6, rather. I'm Stephen Iwanaga, so you're listening on Cool FM nationwide at News Radio 93.1. I'm bringing the latest stories that care for you. During the launching of the Committee on Kontrabigay on Friday, the Commission on Elections vowed to enforce strict mechanisms to combat vote buying, vote selling, and abuse of state resources for the 2025 elections. According to Comelec Commissioner Ernesto Maceda Jr., Commissioner in charge of the committee is committed to dismantle the culture of political patronage and to ensure that no candidate or party will abuse the state resources. We introduce stronger safeguards, clear regulations, and stricter enforcement mechanisms. This will ensure that no candidate or party can subvert the will of the people, especially through the illicit use of resources. Maceda said in his speech. He added that the poll body will not tolerate the abuse of state resources for electoral gain, and they will not hesitate to disqualify, penalize, and hold accountable any candidate in power who dares abuse the elections. He also called on the Filipino people to remain vigilant and report any cases of vote buying, vote selling, and abuse of state resources. Comelec Chairman George Erwin Garcia explained that Kontrabigay, that was once a task force, was formed into a committee to safekeep documents and evidence of complaints and resolve cases even after the elections. Further, the committee is tasked to assist law enforcement authorities to identify acts of vote buying, vote selling, and abuse of state resources, and to gather evidence that may aid in the arrest of suspected individuals who would commit these election offenses. According to Comelec Resolution Number 11104, enforcement of warrantless arrest on vote buying, vote selling, and acts constituting abuse of state resources is an expansion of the power of the Committee on Kontrabigay. Vote buying and vote selling are considered as election offenses under the Section 262 of the Omnibus Election Code. The resolution stated that warrantless arrest is applicable when the person to be arrested is in the presence of the law enforcement authorities. Further, Garcia reiterated that citizen arrest, which is not included in the Comelec resolution but is allowed by the Supreme Court, is not entirely encouraged. Garcia said in the press conference, kaya lang hindi namin i-encourage, may danger sa buhay ng mag-aaresto. Presumption of our acts constituting vote buying, selling, abuse of state resources transactions. The resolution also that there must be at least one voter in different precincts representing at least 20% of the total precincts in any municipality, city, or province has been offered, promised, or given money, valuable consideration, or other expenditure by the candidate's relatives, leaders, or sympathizers for the purpose of promoting the election of such candidate shall constitute or a disputable presumption of a conspiracy under Section 261 of the OEC. Garcia also recalled an instance during the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan 2023 elections where they barred barangay officials from holding office due to vote buying charges. The resolution also mentioned that acts of hakot system or bringing two or more persons in a specific place before election day to distribute cash or anything of value or sample ballots can be grounds for presumption of vote buying and vote selling. In addition, processing, carrying, or transporting cash exceeding 500,000 pesos, along with other campaign paraphernalia and evidence 2 days before or on the actual election day can be considered as acts of presumption. The number of lawmakers backing Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment is now at 240 after 25 more legislators signed and endorsed the complaint. House of Representatives Secretary General Reginald Velasco confirmed this on Friday, 2 days after the chamber impeached Duterte, with 215 lawmakers signing the fourth impeachment complaint. The following 25 lawmakers include Binyan Representative Marlene Alonte, Cagayan Representative Ramon Nolasco Jr., Deputy Speaker Enisabela Representative Tony Pet Albanio, Lanao del Norte Representative Muhammad Khalid Dimaporo, later Representative Carl Nicolas Cari, Masbate Representative Richard Ko, Masbate Representative Olga Ko, Wilton Ko, Negros Occidental Representative Emilio Bernardino Yulo, Quirino Representative Midi Kua, Sultan Kudarat Representative Francis Rihan Sakaluran, Pangasinan Representative Ramon Gico Jr., Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldi Ko, Pangasinan Representative Arthur Celeste, Adrian J. Avicula of Cavite, Tarlac Representative Noel Rivera and Christian Terliap, Oriental Mindoro's Representative Alfonso Omari Jr., Ako Bisaya Party List Representative Sonny Lagon, GP Party List Representative Jose Gay Padielnos, Ako Ilocano Ako Party List Representative Rochelle Singson, Kabayan Party List Representative Ron Salo, Sagip Party List Representative Caroline Tanchay, Abono Party List Representative Robert Raymond Estrella, and ACT-CRS Party List Edvic Yap. According to Velasco, it is up to the Senate as to what it would do with the additional signatories because while the articles of impeachment was sent to the Senate, the upper chamber has not convened yet. Under the 1987 Constitution, an impeachment of complaint could be immediately forwarded to the Senate for trial if over one-third of all House members, 102 out of 36, 306 have signed and endorsed the petition. The 7 articles of impeachment, including the betrayal of public trust, commission of high crimes due to threats against the First Family and Speaker Martin Romualdez, the graft and corruption due to misuse of the confidential funds on DepEd and the OVP, the public trust, betrayal of public trust and bribery within the DepEd, violation of the 1987 Constitution, the betrayal of public trust due to unexplained wealth and failure to disclose assets, commission of high crimes due to involvement in EJ case in the drug war, betrayal of public trust due to alleged destabilization plots and high crimes of sedition and insurrection, and due to her unbecoming conduct as the vice president. This is koolNews at 6. Taiwan detected 6 Chinese balloons off the island, its defense ministry said Friday, as Beijing maintains military pressure to push its claim of sovereignty. The 6 balloons were spotted in the 24 hours to 6 a.m. on Friday, the Taiwanese ministry said in its daily tally of Chinese military academy around the island. Along with the balloons, 9 Chinese military aircraft, 6 warships, and 2 official ships were detected over the same period near Taiwan. Chinese balloons are regularly spotted over waters near Taiwan, but Friday's figure is one of the highest recorded according to an AFP tally of the military data. While Taiwan calls itself a sovereign nation, China claims that the island is part of its territory. China has threatened to use force to bring Taiwan under its control. In recent years, China has ramped up the deployment of fighter jets and warships around the island. China has also sought to erase Taiwan from the international stage by poaching Taiwan's diplomatic allies and blocking it from global forums. Taiwan is a potential flashpoint for a war between China and the United States, which is the island's most important backer and biggest arms supplier. While the U.S. is legally bound to provide arms to Taiwan, Washington has long maintained strategic ambiguity when it comes to deploying its military to defend the island from a Chinese attack. However, the U.S. President Donald Trump's transactional style of diplomacy has raised concerns about his willingness to defend the island. The U.S. President rattled nerves during his election campaign by suggesting Taiwan should pay the United States for protection and accusing the island of stealing the U.S. chip industry. While Taipei has increased spending on its military in recent years, the island of 23 million people still relies heavily on U.S. arms sales as a deterrent against Beijing. Taiwan President Lai Ching-te has sought to get on side with the U.S. administration and show the island's commitment to investing more in its own defense, but his government's plan to increase defense spending to a record of $647 or in Taiwanese dollar, 19.7 billion in U.S. dollar in 2025 appears to have been scuttled. The opposition-controlled parliament last month approved deep cuts to the national budget, including the defense. While Taiwan has a homegrown defense industry and has been upgrading its equipment, it still relies heavily on U.S. arms sales to bolster its security capabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 6:10 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. We will be right back after this break. This is koolNews at 6.
This koolNews edition was brought to you by Delsat TV. Enjoy SD and high definition channels when you subscribe to Delsat TV. Ginuman San Rafael, ganadong mabuhay. Pilsen Healthy Home, odorless antibacterial paint. CFB. Express the freedom of banking. Open your account today at CFB, a member of Crosslink and supervised by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. B. Mulumi Power Race, ang patuka ng masa. UNC, moving it for Filipinos since 1969. And One Mel's, walang kasing katulad na saya sa pagkaing abot kaya.
Hello, buenas noches Pilipinas. My name is Blue Wave and you're watching Sábado en la Noche with Blue.
Nandito na ang bagong Saturday Primetime Talk Show kasama si Blue Wave.
At may joy transmission po ang SPC bukas 6 a.m. Ay, joy lang po.
Uli!
Pero hindi mo kami katulad. Isang side lamang ang iniisip at tinatanggap.
Kung showbiz balita, teknolohiya, BDAU reading o iba pa, we got you covered.
One last word, Mika, I love you. Bye.
Sábado en la Noche with Blue. Tuwing Sábado, dito lang sa Cool FM. Ang inyong himpilan, ang inyong tahanan.
Tuhod, siko, baywa, pag laging pasan ang sakit sa kasukasuan, sign na yan ng arthritis o joint deterioration. Karaniwan kapag nagkakaedad na, kailangan ng tibay at ginhawang makakapitan. Kaya ng artrisin yan. May undenatured type 2 collagen at methylsulfonyl methane na maaaring makatulong protektahan ang kalusugan ng kasukasuan. Make the right move. Uminom ng artrisin araw-araw. Mabibili ang artrisin sa mga leading drugstores nationwide. Mahalagang paalala, ang artrisin ay hindi gamot at hindi maaaring gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Mapabata man o lolo, kahit simpleng alaga, nagiiwan ng marka sa'yo. Husay malasakit, iaalay sa alagang Unilab yan.
For 80 years, husay at malasakit ang nilalaan sa bawat gamot, sa bawat Pilipino para makapagbigay ng alagang makakatulong sa'yo na mag-iwan ng marka sa iba. Ito ang alagang Unilab para sa'yo.
Alagang Unilab yan. Pangarap ay umangat pero minsan ay sanunal. Kabayanin kita sa Ginebra. Ikaw ang inspirasyon. Kahit di madali, katuwang sa bawat sandali. Kabayanin kita sa One Ginebra Nation. Pera para sa barangay, ako naman magbibigay. Kabayanin tayo, kabayanin kita. Drink responsibly.
Nakakapagod talaga maghapon trabaho sa opisina. Tambak ang mga paperworks.
Han, kape ka muna.
Ha? Kape? Anong kape ito? Ang bango. Grabe ang aroma ng herbal.
Han, Mark Cafe yan. Marami ang taglay na benepisyo sa ating katawan. Nakakatulong magpagaling ng mga karamdaman at nakakawala ng pagod. Kaya ubusin mo na bago pa lumamig yan. Mark Cafe 5-in-1+1 Coffee Mix. Kompleto sa sangkap ng agaricus blazei moril, spirulina, mushroom at panax ginseng na nagpapalakas ng immune system ng ating katawan. Tumutulong magpagaling ng mga karamdaman tulad ng high blood pressure, diabetes, anemia, osteoporosis, depression, pagkabalisa, fatigue syndrome, infection sa baga, tumor, cancer, erectile dysfunction, improved digestion, nakakabawas ng pagod, nagpapagaling ng allergies at nagpapatibay ng liver, kidney at marami pang iba. Mark Cafe 5-in-1+1 Coffee Mix.
Mabibili na sa inyong mga suking tindahan, drugstores at supermarket sa inyong lugar.
Mancha, 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 ang daming labada. Sa unang babad pa lang, si Breeze nagtatanggal.
Based on lab test mud and polyester, results may vary.
Mancha, Breeze 3 washes back ka na.
Kahit 3 times dami ng laba, Breeze 3 washes pack. Refers up to 3 wash loads, up to 18 to 20 pieces per wash. Breeze!
There's good and there's finger licking good. There's good and there's finger licking good. It's a taste that you crave, crave. Any place, every day, day. Nothing goes close, unmatched, unmatched. Nothing goes close, unmatched, unmatched. Ito lang ang inaasahan, di nila mapapantayan. Nothing goes close, unmatched, unmatched. Nothing goes close, unmatched, unmatched.
Order KFC via the new KFC app today.
Casino Ethyl Alcohol. Sa proteksyon ng pamilya, di kailangang mahal. Casino Ethyl Alcohol kills up to 99.9% of germs based on representative germs tested with good scent sa presyong sulit. Trusted na, save pa sa bulsa. Yes to good vibes. Yes to good scent. Ethyl Alcohol is the generic name of Casino Regular. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Mula sa #1 Smart Dishwashing Paste.
Tanggaling-galing mo. Smart Dishwashing Paste ko. Pritong ulam na masebo, plato at kaldero. Tanggaling for everyday.
Ganyan pag Smart ang dishwashing paste. May double tanggaling formula. Tanggal galing ang sebo at bacteria.
Bahid para walang bahid, linis fantastic sa metal at plastic. #1 ko to. Tanggaling-galing mo. Smart Dishwashing Paste.
Heavy duty linis bawat pahid.
Smart Dishwashing Paste, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS. May bagong energy na! Pinakabago, pinakamainam na Enervon, Enervon Z+. Pinalakas ng zinc, vitamin C, vitamins B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 12, at vitamin E. Pinakabago, pinakamainam na Enervon. Hey! Enervon Z+.
Unilab yan.
Multivitamins plus zinc is the generic name of Enervon Z+. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Ako si Melba Avergonzado, 64 edad. Di na ko kakita. Blind na kayo akong mata ba. Pag-check sa doktor, ingon siya, ay naaman dahi kay katarak. Ingon ang doktor, paoperahin lang ni. Mingko di ko duk, mahadlo ko ng operasyon duk. Uy, ingon ang doktor, sige, kaim na lang na siya og iBerry.
Ang iBerry ay dietary supplement na may iBright flower extract at bilberry berries.
Nagpasalamat jud ko pag-ayo sa iBerry. Murag na arang-arang naman akong pananaw kay makalakaw naman kung mag-usa.
Ang halagang paalala, ang iBerry ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Welcome back to the news. Here, let's go on to the lifestyle stuff. Well, who writes history? Winston Churchill. Oh, teka. Teka, ingay talaga. Okay. Wait lang, give me a break. The Philippine Coast Guard is zeroing in on the waters of Zambales due to the presence of the China Coast Guard monster ship from few months now. Commodore J. Tariela, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, made this pronouncement on Friday, noting that CCG 5901 is staying off waters of Zambales, which is near the Panatag Shoal. Our main concern right now is what is the waters off the coast of Zambales, Tariela said on an online briefing. Our intention is to prevent the Chinese Coast Guard from getting closer to the coastline of Zambales. Spotted in the western section of the PEZ since December 2024, the CCG 5901 is believed to be the largest armed Coast Guard cutter in the world. CCG 5901 is 165 meters long and 22 meters wide, about 1.5 of an average football field, and weighed 12,000 tons. The PCG has deployed its biggest ship, a 97-meter multi-role response vessel, BRP Teresa Magbanwa, to keep the monster ship at bay. Tariela said the arrival of CCG 5901 as close as 54 nautical miles last January 4 gave PCG an alarming and compelling reason to deploy its flagship MRRV. While relatively near the Zambales coast, the monster ship is still outside the territorial waters of the country. The monster ship's intrusive patrols are based on Beijing's assertion of sovereignty in almost the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea, despite the historic 2016 arbitral award, which effectively rejected its sweeping claims in the western section of Manila's EEZ. While the PCG is focusing on Zambales at present, Tariela assured the public that they have deployed vessels to the northern parts of the country, in Palawan and Calayan Island Group. We are thinly spreading our assets to cover the entire West Philippine Sea, Tariela said. Okay, the Philippine National Police recorded 691 violators so far of the gun ban for the 2025 national and local elections. Data released on Friday showed the following were apprehended by the police for skirting the ban on firearms over the election season as of February 6, with 650 civilians, 22 security guards, 6 AFP personnel, 4 foreign nationals, 3 personnel of other law enforcement agencies, 2 appointed government officials, 1 elected government official, 1 PNP personnel on absence without leave, and 1 citizen armed force geographical unit active auxiliary personnel. The NCR has had the most arrests with 206 violators, followed by the Central Luzon with 117 arrests, then by Central Visayas with 70. The number of firearms confiscated rose to 692 so far. Furthermore, the PNP reported conducting 186,235 checkpoints operations as of February 6. According to PNP Public Information Office Chief Colonel Randolph Tuanyo, yung aresto nila, referring to the police, na pagkolekta ng firearms ay para sa operasyon ng anti-illegal drugs. Other law enforcement and police response. With over 17 million poor households in the Philippines, an economist pointed out that the price of rice has to be brought down after increasing from 38 pesos per kilo and in the first months of 2022. Based on data from the Department of Agriculture, the price of a kilo of a local regular milled rice spiked to as high as 55 pesos per a day before the ceiling imposed by the Malacanang took effect. But over a year later, the price of rice is still high at 46%. So to stabilize prices and ensure that rice remains accessible, Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chul Laurel Jr. declared on Monday, February 3, a food security emergency, heeding the recommendation of the NPCC, or the National Price Coordinating Council. However, Sony Africa, an executive director of the think tank Ibon Foundation, told that the declaration was made just to give the appearance of an action on the problem that is the government's own doing. This, as he stressed that the high price of rice with local well-milled going as high as 55 pesos last weekend is because domestic rice production and local farmers have been neglected for so long. Even the DA admitted in Department Circular Number 3 that there has been extraordinary rise in local prices, which has persisted despite lower global market costs and a cut in tariff rates in the past few months from 35% to 15%. With the declaration, the DA stated that the NFA, which is legally restricted from selling rice directly to the public, can now release its buffer stock to government offices, local government units, and kadiwa ng Pangulo outlets for 33 pesos a kilo. The supply will then be sold to consumers for 35 pesos. The problem, however, is that the NFA has only 300,000 metric tons of rice, which is not enough to influence rice prices because it is way lower than the 16 million metric tons of rice consumed by Filipinos in a year. The DA said only half of the 300,000 metric tons could be released over the next 6 months to ensure enough buffer stocks for emergencies and disaster response. It was stated by the NFA Administrator Larry Lacson that the office is expected to release 150,000 metric tons or 3,050,000 kilo bags of rice over 6 months, especially in areas with elevated rice prices. This means that the 30,000 metric tons of rice will be released each month. But as Africa stressed, if it even materializes, the supposed 3 to 5 peso cut in prices will likely just be felt in the few hundred kadiwa na Pangulo outlets that are able to serve just a few thousand families nationwide. The DA said the rice harvest season, which is set to begin mid-February, will see the NFA procuring palay at 23 pesos a kilo to increase buffer stock in compliance with the Republic Act No. 1 or the Amendment Rice Tarification Act. Okay. The law signed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. last year requires the NFA to maintain a 50-day rice buffer stock, which is equivalent to 55 555,000 metric tons to meet the national consumption needs. But would this be possible? The NFA has 9 billion for rice buffer stock this year based on the initial 9-day requirement. But the agency has requested 9 million more to cover the additional 6 days required by the amended law. Chula Rel explained that with palay prices this year averaging 21 to 23 a kilo compared to 27 a kilo in 2024, the NFA can buy more from local farmers, ensuring both supply and farmer welfare. Africa, however, pointed out that if government funds were demobilized so near the elections, it would be good to have clear and function mechanisms for public transparency and accountability to make sure this isn't misused. Okay. For the weather news, the northeast monsoon as of earlier. Wait, well, let me find another one instead, because we're running out of time. We head over to back to the national news as Senator Lauren Legarda condemning President Donald Trump's proposed displacement of the Palestinians in Gaza. According here, the Senator Legarda has expressed a serious condemnation of the U.S. president's alarming proposal to take over and own the Gaza Strip, along with the relocation of his Palestinian residents to neighboring countries such as Jordan and Egypt, as remarked during a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu last February 4. President Trump's pronouncement comes just weeks after a ceasefire and hostage deal was brokered between Israel and the Palestinian group Hamas, following relentless conflict that has left Gaza in devastation with nearly 62,000 Palestinians killed. She said it is deeply troubling and unacceptable that after enduring 15 harrowing months of violence and decades of continued oppression, Palestinians now clinging on to the last fragments of their destroyed homes in Gaza face the cruel prospect of forced displacement. It is inconceivable that in the 21st century we are witnessing proposals for the mass expulsion of an entire population, effectively erasing them from their homeland, stripping away their identity, and reducing them to permanent refugees. Such an act is not only unconscionable, but echoes the darkest chambers of history. U.S. President Donald Trump said that the U.S. will have a long-term ownership of Gaza and will reconstruct it into the Riviera of the Middle East, with the world's people living there. Gaza, home to approximately 2.1 million people after the war, nearly 47% of whom are children under the age of 18, has suffered catastrophic damage, with 92% of its housing units will have been destroyed and critical infrastructure, including water and electricity systems, severely damaged. For the entertainment news, Aubrey Miles came to the defense of the drama series Incognito amid allegations that the show relied on the green screen technology. Miles, who admitted that she's a big fan of Daniel Padilla and Richard Gutierrez star series, urged the viewers to give proper credit to homegrown productions, as she emphasized that Filipino talent can deliver high-quality content. Miles' statement came after netizens on social media accused the Netflix series of relying on green screen effects after one scene of Jane De Leon from the show went viral on X. Aside from Padilla and Gutierrez, Incognito also features Ian Veneracion, Kyla Estrada, Barry Sakal, Baron Geisler, and Anthony Jennings. Wow, a cheater. Yo, jokes aside, Miles' remarks also came after the final episode of GMA Network's Widow's War, starring Bea Alonzo and Carla Abadiana, sparked online buzz after its distinguishable use of green screen effects and a pivotal scene. Well, it's now 6:30 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and we will return for more news and headlines later on koolNews Primetime. For more news and headlines, keep it up here on Kool FM and News Radio 93.1. You can send us your comments, suggestions, and feedback at tvh.philippines.news@gmail.com. I'm Stephen Juanadil. I'm Stephen Juanadil Sol. Take care. Good night, and God bless the Philippines.